Hey everybody, Shawn Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Bringing you a fly tying pattern this week, and this week it's a kind of a cool old twist for me. I like tying old classic salmon flies and classic streamers just for a twist. Like right now I'm getting ready for this weekend's fly tying symposium, and I'm taking a little break here before I go, tying up a cool old pattern just for something different because I've been trying to fill my boxes for the last 2 or 3 weeks here. This is an old Atlantic salmon fly pattern, and it was a married wing style pattern, you know, stacking feathers on top of each other to give it a different look. But we're going to take a simple method to doing it here, and we're going to do it like a hairwing pattern, kind of like a bucktail, but we're going to use squirrel tail. And we're actually going to use some fox squirrel and gray squirrel. Right now on the market, they're hard to get a hold of for the fly tying suppliers. Squirrel's hard to get right now. A lot of squirrel dubs are even hard to get, but the tails are too. So go out and shoot yourself a nice fox squirrel and cut the tail off and save it. That's actually one of my old ones from hunting. Also in this video, I'm going to use the whiting grab bag, the material grab bag here, where it's just a lot of different colors of, you know, cuts off of other capes and necks and stuff. And what I'm going to use, I just picked through here. I got an orange and a yellow piece. I'm going to use a feather off of each one of those for the tail. For the throat, I'm going to use a brown one and a grizzly one. So use what you have, mess around with different colors, play and have fun. You know, that's what this is all about, having fun tying. And just experiment, try different things. I'm going to change things up a little bit too in the video from the original pattern. So it's patterned after the Silver Satan is the name of the fly it's patterned after, but it's really nothing like it. It's kind of my twist on it. So have fun tying, guys. Here you're going to see a picture of it, then the material list to tie it. Okay guys, here you see this variation of the Silver Satan fly in the vise. Very cool looking pattern. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a size 6. This is a 2340 Daiichi streamer hook. This is a 6X long. Just a nice streamer hook for these classic old flies. For thread, I'm going to start out with some 140 Denier cream. You can use whatever color you want here. You can use like an orange or red, whatever color you want. I'm just using some cream here. And I'm just going to wrap back towards the back. For the tail, I showed you that grab bag there at the beginning. We're going to use one of these orange feathers out of it. Just pluck off, you know, a nice little clump of them there. And we're going to tie that in back here at the back. And that's going to be the bottom part of our tail. So I want this to go about a hook gap length is about the distance I want for my tail on here. And I'm just going to wrap that back off the bend of the hook. Okay, and now on top of that I'm going to put a yellow feather. You know, if your grab bag doesn't come with that, or you don't have this, use one color. However, just experiment. Practice the pattern more so than, practice the techniques more so than the exact pattern. You know, use what you have. The fish aren't going to care. So I'm going to just take another clump of it, set it on top here, get it the same length. So I have a little two-tone tail coming off the back here. And then wrap that right off the back, just like that. That's going to make our tail. We're going to wrap all this down. Next thing I'm going to do is put on a piece of French oval tinsel. This is silver, and this is the large size. And I'm just going to cut off about a 5 or 6 inch piece. And then I'm going to tie it down. I like to tie it on the side closest to me because I can see where I want it to go there. So from the camera, that's away from you, but just get it tied on there somewhere. And then wrap my thread forward a little bit, and then I'm going to get that back out of the way. Next thing I'm going to use is some Mylar tinsel. This is the gold silver. One side's gold, one side's silver. I'm going to twist it up a little bit. It calls for silver on here, but I'm going to tie it down. I'm going to tie it with the gold side tied down onto the hook. and the silver side up. By doing that, I'm actually going to bring this gold side on top. And I want the gold side to be underneath my silver tinsel just to offset it. I think it looks a little cooler. So once I get that tied on there, I'm going to get my thread back out of the way, and I want to build up this part here. You see how I have it thicker at the back and then the thin shank of the hook here. I'm going to switch to some 220 denier thread just so I can cover the hook a little bit better. And I want to smooth this out. So I'm just going to wrap this up, and I'm going to jump ahead here to where I have this all covered up. Okay, here you can see now, I got it back up here. I got it all nice and smooth. I'm going to tie this off, and I did have 1 or 2 wraps go ahead there, but you see how I left a nice room for my head to build up there, a good solid eye length, maybe a little bit more. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to wrap this thread up to the front, cover that up. You don't have to worry about, you know, wrapping my gold over, or my cream over that pink, because it's not going to show through under this tinsel. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to wrap this tinsel forward. Nice side-by-side wraps. Should have put this in my rotary vise and spun it up. I can do it a lot quicker that way, but you don't have to, so I'll show it to you for you guys who don't have a rotary vise. So nice side-by-side wraps. Try not to let any of their thread show through. And once you get it up there to the eye, we're going to tie it off. Alright, make 3 or 4 wraps, tie that off, and trim off our tinsel. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to rib this. We're going to come in with our silver rib, and I want to keep this nice and flat. You see its 2 sides are flat. It's in an oval, French oval tinsel, hence the name. And I just want to make sure it doesn't get twisted as I roll it up through there. And bring that up to the front and tie it off. Alright, now I'm trying not to get too many wraps up there and build up too big of a head. So there we go, we have our body finished now. Now we're going to put our throat on this. For the throat, I'm going to come in with 2 feathers. I'm going to use a brown one to do a little bit of a darker underbelly on the throat here. And pinch off a clump of it. Pinch it in my fingers here, and then we're just going to put it right underneath and tie that, making sure it stays right on the bottom where we want it. Try not to make more wraps than you need to. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put on some Grizzly over top of that. And you don't have to do 2 colors here. You can do just 1 and it'll be just fine. This just gives it a little bit different look. And I want the Grizzly to go the same length as that brown. And again, I want to make sure I get that on the bottom, staying on the bottom. There we go. And trim off the butt sections because they're a little bit longer on this feather. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to do the wing. For the wing, we're going back to that fox squirrel. And I cut off a couple fibers there and put them in my hair stacker already, got them all straight and ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on top, and I want it to go just shy. You can see how sparse I am too. Don't go too heavy on this, but I want to go just shy of the end of that tail. And one thing you can do to keep it all together is you can make 1 wrap around it before you tie it down. That'll help you out a lot. And so just make a good tight wrap there. Get that on top. You can see how I went thin here, but it splays out there and still looks pretty thick, like there's a lot there, and there's not a whole lot there actually. So I like that, that's good. And then I'm going to come in with some gray squirrel on top of that. And I like the gray squirrel because you get that tri-colored look to it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lay that down, get the ends lined up nice there. I'm going to come in, make 1 wrap around, and then tie down. I'll make sure that stays right on top and get it nice and tight. And then we're going to trim the butt sections off again. And try to minimize your wraps here so you don't make your head too big. And then make a nice clean head on this. Now, last thing you can do here, if you don't like I want to straighten this up a little bit more. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Okay, now last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit, this is like I don't even know what color it is. Adobe orange actually, but it's a light brown color. I want to change the color of my thread. I'm just going to take a marker and marker up my thread a little bit and put that on the head to change the color of my head. And I can actually whip finish this off and then go back in with the marker and do it. So let's do it that way. Alright, get a whip finish on there. I like this one. I kept that head small, and I'm just going to take that marker, go around, color all the thread on there so I get this nice brownish orange color. And use whatever color you like there. Switch it. You can even just use the cream thread or red thread if you want. Hit it with a little bit of Solarez Bone Dry to cure up that head. Hit it with the light, and we're done. And there you go. Very cool old classic style streamer tied in a new style way. Okay guys, I hope you like that pattern. It's a lot of fun to tie, something different for me, something, you know, off from my normal nymph after nymph after nymph like I'm usually tying. So have fun. I like swinging these in the springtime, you know, fresh stock trout. They like these kind of patterns. You get that minnow pattern, they can't resist it a lot of times. So my bigger freestone streams, like if I'm fishing Kettle Creek or something like that in the spring, I'm going to have one of these on, maybe a wet fly in front of it, like it's chasing a wet fly through a riffle or something like that. I usually do quite well. I'll get a lot of aggravation strikes on the streamer. You know, some of them will go for the wet fly, whatever's hatching at the time. That's what I'm going to have on as my wet fly. But a lot of times I'll have a streamer on down below it and I get that aggression strike because, you know, the trout's sitting there thinking, hey, that's not going to steal my meal. That's my meal. So he'll hit it just out of aggression, and I catch a lot of fish that way. It's a good technique when you're wet fly, especially in the springtime. It's really productive in the springtime. So have fun, guys. If you have any questions, reach out to me, holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions you might have. And the materials that we use to tie in our videos here, you can find them at our website at holsingersflyshop.com. Hope you love my videos. Thank you for supporting me. If you're out this weekend at the Fly Tying Symposium, if you're watching this when it's first released, go to New Jersey to the Fly Tying Symposium, stop at my table and say hi, guys. I love making these videos, and I can't wait to bring you another one next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Shawn Holsinger.